Welcome back. Thank you for stopping in to check out the Format Podcast, episode 88. Today, we are going to talk all football since we're getting down to the nitty gritty, the nuts and bolts, the end of the thing. Monday night, we have the college football championship coming up between the Ohio State Buckeyes and the Alabama Crimson Tide. And this weekend is also wild card weekend in the NFL, which features on Saturday and Sunday triple headers on each day for the first time ever. So we got a lot of great football action for you. And to join us to talk about football today is former Florida State Seminole and 2007 NFL champion with the New York Giants, Michael Jennings. So that should be a good one. Hope you guys stick around and check that out. But before we get to that great interview, we got to knock out the particulars, and you know what we do. First and foremost, thank you again for joining the Format Podcast. If you're on social media, you know where to find me. But in case you don't, if you're on Twitter, you can find me at Bruce F.A. Hope. That's at Bruce F.A. Hope. If you're on Instagram, the address is at The Format Podcast, at The Format Podcast. And if you want to email me, you can do that by emailing theformatpodcast@outlook.com, theformatpodcast@outlook.com. You can reach me by all three of those. You can tell me I'm the dumbest guy in the world talking sports. That's cool. If you do, that lets me know you're listening. Just tell me why, though, and we can debate it. We can talk about it. All right. You could tell me you love the show. I'd love to hear that. But even if you don't, that's cool. What you can also do there is suggest topics for me to talk about on the next show. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you hated. All that's great. Okay. Just no matter what you do, I love the interaction. So thanks for that. Okay. Um, Next up, if you're watching me on YouTube, make sure you click the subscribe button in the lower right corner of your screen. And also click that bell so you can be notified when new content is available to you. We're doing our best to continue to bring you that quality content. So keep checking us out. And if you click that bell, then obviously you'll be notified when new stuff comes out. All right. If you like this podcast only in its audio format, that's great too, because even before I started the YouTube channel, working hard to make the videos for you, I've been doing these on audio, and you can find us on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, Podbean, wherever you listen to your podcast, you can find the Format Podcast. Just type in the Format Podcast, and there we are. We'll pop up. And speaking of iTunes, if you're heading over there, please pop in and give us that 5-star rating. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. Give us that 5-star rating. It'll help us continue to climb up the rankings. And believe it or not, it helps a whole lot. Also, if you want to, please leave us a comment. All right. Also, comments are good for iTunes and our overall rankings as well. Okay. So with all that out of the way, let's get to it. Michael Jennings talking college football national championship game, talking NFL playoffs. Sit back, relax, and listen up to episode 88 of The Format. Joining me today on the Format Podcast, we got a special guest to talk college and professional football, whether it's a national championship game or the playoffs. We have former Florida State Seminole and 2007 NFL champion with the New York Giants. You see the helmet there behind him. Wide receiver Michael Jennings. Michael, how you doing? Thanks for joining the show.
I'm good, brother. Thank you for having me, man. You know, I'm always about talking a little football, man. Good to see you.
Absolutely. So let's for the Format listeners and viewers who don't really know too much about you, tell us a little bit about where you're from, high school ball, college, and then your opportunity to play in the NFL?
Oh man, well, I am born and raised here in Jacksonville, Florida, and
Mm,
it was just a dream of mine to play football, just like we all have dreams. And I ran. Well, my story was kind of crazy because I ran at Florida State. I ran track in college, but I didn't really know if I was good enough to go. I always felt like I was a football player running track, but I did
okay.
qualify for. Uh, I was an ACC champion and went to nationals and qualified for USA nationals, but it was just my
Wow.
heart to play ball. So I kind of a crazy story, kind of walked on, man, out there at Doak Campbell when they do pro day.
Mm-hmm.
I ran a 4.3 flat, and that's what kind of started my career, man.
Ooh.
Yeah, man, Doak Campbell, the Florida boys, we can get up and it was a lot I had to learn, but I'm just happy it opened. That's what had opened the door. It was a
Right.
long road, but I made it.
And how many years did you play football at Florida State?
I did not play at all. I just
Oh,
ran
okay.
track. I ran track in college.
Okay, so you went to the pro day, and then that got you.
That's what got me looks. That's what got me looked at. And it's a crazy story, man, because a guy by the name of he was a wide receiver. He does announcing now for CBS, I believe. I forgot his name. Well, anyway, I'll think of his name in a minute. But he was a scout for the Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
And what's so crazy is he seen me run the 40 and he was excited about me. And he went and talked to the Chargers, and they was like, "Okay, we'll bring him in." You know what I'm saying? He was just telling about this guy. And he said, "Well, show me his film." And I had no film, man. So he was like, "Man, they just turned around. They turned me down. It's like, he got no film, man. We can't bring him, man. I can't. My mind is. There might be a little bit of CTE coming in, man. But I can't remember his name. I remember it a little bit. It didn't come back to me, but that's how it really started. But the first team I played with at that pro day. Uh, guy by the name of Angelo Wright. He was an agent known for getting fellas in who didn't have a lot of experience or wasn't big draft picks, and that's who kind of got me my first shot with the 49ers.
Okay. So that's amazing story. So how did you get from getting a shot with the 49ers to becoming a champion with the Giants?
Oh man. Well, you know how it is with experience. I got released from the 49ers, came back, was a PE teacher for a while here in Jacksonville, XLII
Okay.
Academy. But I always made good relationship with folk. And it was a guy by the name of George Stewart. He was the wide receiver coach in 49ers at that time. He told me about NFL Europe. So he kind of got me involved with the NFL Europe. I was kind of bouncing around, getting cut there. And this a trip you out, man. But I'm gonna tell you just how it is. We
Okay.
got time. How much time we got, man?
Talk to me, man. Don't worry
All
about that.
right.
Talk to me.
So so I'm out here and they had tryouts for NFL Europe. I was trying it with the Berlin Thunder in Tampa. And I didn't know if I was gonna make the team. I hadn't been cut so many times now from the 49ers to bouncing around these NFL Europe teams. And just so happened it was 2 more days left in camp, and this white guy comes out the stadium, out the stands. He had a hoodie on, and he just told me, he was like, "Well, you're not gonna make this team." And it broke my heart because I'm like, man, I'm out here working hard because I was getting my experience was getting more better, even though I had no car. For me being on so many different teams, I was getting experience.
Hmm.
Anyway, he was like, "Man, you're not gonna make this team, but you come play with my team." And I'm like, "Who is this white man? Who are you?" You know what I'm saying? And he took it to it was Bill Belichick, man, with the
Wow.
Patriots. Man,
Wow.
so I was like, hell yeah, I come play with you. I was
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was excited. So I skipped going to Europe and went straight to New England, man. And that's where I finally made an actual practice squad roster. And all the guys there just being in the huddle with Tom Brady.
Hmm.
And the receivers there were small because with the 49ers, you had Terrell Owens, big
Hmm.
guys, Ty Streets, JJ Stokes. Okay, these guys, but here now you got Deion Branch,
Hmm.
Troy Brown, a lot of small receivers. So me being smaller, it taught me a lot. So that's where it kind of goes. I made that team, got cut, moved, went to play with Baltimore. for just a short stint, got cut. And then I finally got a chance with the New York Giants, man, with
Okay.
Tom Coughlin gave me a chance. And that's why I kind of stuck and stayed, man. I took a punt return back 57 yards, got a Super Bowl ring, man. It was
Okay.
hey, it was a crazy ride, but I made it.
That's determination. That's what's up. We're gonna talk about Brady later. We definitely gonna get to Brady. So that's awesome.
Okay.
You know what it is to play with him. You know what it is to play against him. So that I'm definitely looking forward to that. But before we get to the NFL playoffs, Tom Brady and all that good stuff, let's talk a little bit about the college football national championship game. So you're a champion. You know what that's about. You know what it takes to get to the highest level of the sport. Um, so the two key players in this game coming up Monday night are obviously Heisman Trophy winner Devontae Smith for Alabama and Justin Fields for Ohio State. So first,
Yes.
you being a wide receiver, I'm interested in hearing your take on what makes Devontae Smith so special, so dangerous, and what can Ohio State do schematically to try to take him out of the game? Tell me about that.
Man, what's so special about that guy, man? Look, he's only 175 pounds, man. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? And but that's just like me. That's my actual playing weight in the NFL was 175 pounds. But him being in college, he will get bigger. But when
Mm-hmm.
you look at his body type, he's kind of more like a Marvin Harrison type
Mm,
guy. So when I was looking, his route running is impeccable, man.
mm-hmm.
He just can run great routes, man, and do so much and getting open and catching the ball. It seems like he if I can explain, it seems like he makes all his catches look easy. Kind of remind you a
Yeah.
little bit of like Jerry Rice, you know what I'm saying, catching that ball, man. But when you think of an athlete, you have to he puts you in the mind frame of Marvin Harrison, man. A
Mm-hmm.
small guy who can kind of get open. I think he's gonna do great in the NFL. It looking like the Miami Dolphins. Oh, there might be something serious down there with Tua down there with right there, but
Oh boy.
we don't want to jump too fast on it because right now he got a big game here
Mm-hmm.
with Ohio State,
Mm-hmm.
and in order for them to shut him down, I'm thinking me personally, because you're gonna have to always keep somebody over the top
Yeah.
and just take him away from the game and just make them find another way to beat him. Don't allow him to take over the game because it seems like every game he's taking over and making it look easy out there.
So where I am with Ohio State, and I do think that Ohio State is going to pull the upset here because I think they're better at the quarterback position, and we'll get to that as well. But I think for me, what it is with Ohio State in this game is trying to defend him. You keep somebody over the top, but then you gonna get beat by Mechie, or if Jalen Waddle plays, now you got another freak out there. So it's
Yeah,
kind of
and
like
they
pick your
say he's
poison.
supposed to be playing.
I had heard that it was a game time decision, but if he's gonna be playing, I'm not sure what Ohio State can do with the passing game. But the good thing is that with that front seven Ohio State has, they can stop the run and they can get to the quarterback without having to blitz too much. So it's going to be real interesting to see what they do with that Bama receiving core. You got to get Mac Jones off his spot. You have to.
Yeah, man. Give a shout out to Matt Jones, another Duval County boy, Jacksonville, Florida, man. He doing great out there, man.
Yep.
He gonna do good. He's also gonna do good in the NFL. But you really think that Ohio State gonna pull up this upset,
I
man?
do. I
That's a
do.
bold
I
prediction,
think they're
brother.
superior at the, and we'll talk some more about this when we go down. But I think they're superior at the quarterback position. Justin Fields to me is just a monster, and I think that the way they can run the football and maybe keep it away from Alabama with Trey Sermon and that O line, man, it's going to be serious.
So you think since you talk about it, so
Yeah.
I have been keeping my eye on Fields just slightly because of the quarterback situation with the Jacksonville
Mm-hmm.
Jaguars. You know, I'm with my boy Sunshine from Clemson.
I call him that
Yeah,
too.
yeah, I love my boy Trevor Lawrence,
Mm-hmm.
but I looked at Fields play a game before when they beat Clemson,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know what I'm not don't going to down him as a quarterback. I do think he's great, but he has to show me more than just that one game because he has not been consistent in my eyes.
And that's fine. I can agree with you on that. So we're gonna so I'll get back to my previous, so we were gonna talk about this, but I think if it's me, right, I have said this consistently. You can go back and check the receipts on me. I think Justin Fields is going to be better than Trevor Lawrence in the NFL. I do. I think
You
that
do.
Yeah, I think he's more accurate in the long ball. He's clearly more mobile. He's faster, and he's more
You
accurate in
said,
tight
hold on, hold on,
windows.
hold on. Who faster?
Oh,
Did,
Fields.
did Sunshine?
Yeah, he's faster. Yeah.
Man, Sunshine got that sneaky speed, man.
Oh, no question. I'm not saying he's slow. I
He
ain't saying
might
he's
have,
slow
he
now.
might have more agility, but straight up, just straight speed. You think that
Yeah.
he?
I think Justin Fields is like 4.47, 4.45 at his best. Trevor Lawrence
Okay,
is not
okay.
that fast.
Yeah,
But
I would
like you
say
said,
he's
he
a
got sneaky
4.6.
speed because he's 6'5", 6'6", and when he unwind them long legs, he's out.
Yes,
So I'm not saying he's
I put him
slow,
at a
not
four
at all.
six. I put
Right.
him at a 4.6,
Mm-hmm.
4.6 guy. So
Right.
I did not know that Fields was that fast. So I'm gonna have to give him more props. I didn't know he
Yeah.
was that
Yeah.
fast.
Fields is fast.
Okay.
He's not just track fast either. He's game speed fast. But
Yes.
so yeah. So with that, what do you see Justin Fields being able to do in this game against Alabama? And the reason I asked that, just about every other Alabama championship team we've seen under Nick Saban, they have that lockdown type, defense. And this year, we haven't really seen that. Now, maybe it's because more of the focus is going to the offense, and the defense is still good. Bama always going to have athletes, but it's not the put you in the sleeper hold strangle that defense that we used to see. So
Yeah,
what do
you're
you
right.
think
You're
that
right.
Justin Fields needs to do to be successful in this game against Alabama?
Really, from what I see, just like I was saying about the consistency, when he
Mm-hmm.
played Clemson, man, he looked at that was his best game that he ever played. That was his career high. So I believe if he hit the accuracy and his poise in the pocket of how he was throwing that ball, if he could show that to me again, I believe. But me personally, believe that Alabama just got that winning mentality, man. I don't know if, just like you do say, that their defense is not like it was a past, but I just don't know if Ohio State can pull off two big wins in a row like that, especially beating Clemson and then come back and beat Alabama. If I had to go, but if Fields can be consistent
Mm-hmm.
and throw the way that he throw that ball, and like you were saying, 4.4 speed, be able to get away and move out the pocket on the run and make them good throws like he did, I believe, like you say,
Mm-hmm.
they could do the upset. I can't agree with that. But if I had to call it,
Right.
I think Alabama. I think Alabama gonna pull it off. If I had to call it,
And I'm not mad at you, but I think Trey Sermon is going to be the difference. That dude has been a beast in the last 3 games, and we saw that kind of a few years ago with Ezekiel Elliott when he went off. I think he got what 270, 250 against Bama in the playoffs. So
yeah, man.
it
And
can happen.
he was. That's another one I never really paid him attention to him until they played the championship game against
Mm-hmm.
Clemson,
Mm-hmm.
and he looked it to be that big and to bounce outside like that and run that ball like he did. He was
Mm-hmm.
very physical, but he was still had a lot of agility, man, and speed. So I did forget that's gonna be a great big factor. That's a very good point that you just made.
Yeah, yeah. So okay, so we know kind of where you are. I got Ohio State, you got Alabama in the championship game. So with that, we look at the last what? How many? College football playoffs so far, and I think we've seen Alabama in everyone except one. We've seen Clemson, I think, in everyone except one, or maybe all of them. We've seen Oklahoma in 3 of them. We've seen Ohio State in 3 or 4 of them, right? So the point I'm trying to make here is there's 4 teams. We know that expansion is coming. What's your feeling on expanding the college football playoff? I'm with it. I want to take it to 8 teams.
I'm with it too because it's almost like it's. I'm not saying it's. You want to keep everybody kind of excited about the game. You know what I'm saying? It's
Mhm.
kind of every year we pretty much know who's going to be in the championship.
Yeah.
It's you know what I'm saying? Every year it's the same thing, and
Mhm.
I think that it'll be good for college if they do. I'm with you on that. If they expand, and it's because it's I mean it's Clemson.
Mhm.
It's the same thing every year, but
Right.
Notre Dame, but Notre Dame is just getting back up in there in the mix. I mean, I think it'd be great for just this whole sport in a whole if they open it up because every year we kind of knowing who's going to be there. You know what I mean?
I
And
agree.
I feel
My
like they just crunch it down. They got all of the recruiting.
I agree. But my only thing is, if they're going to expand it, let's say eight is likely because they don't want to quote unquote water down the importance of the regular season. And that's fine. But for me, the important thing here is if you're going to expand, you need to expand with specific criteria for who gets in. I.e., I'm just going to throw out something random, not necessarily the way, but let's just say five Power Five conference championships, Power Five conference champions, two at larges, and group of five best team, just hypothetically. Because for me, my thing is the argument is, well, we don't want the group of five in there because they're just going to get smoked anyway. But we've seen a whole bunch of Power Five teams get smoked when they get in there. Oklahoma's been smoked. Ohio State's been smoked.
Yep,
Notre
yep.
Dame's been smoked twice. Alabama's been smoked. It happens. So to me, by basically not allowing a group of five team in pretty much no matter what they do, you're telling them without actually saying it, it doesn't matter what you do, you're playing for nothing. And that's not cool. So to me, they need to expand it, but expand it with criteria on who gets in. I think that would be even more exciting. And just, it will give those other teams, even more motivation to go out there and play for a spot.
Yeah, man. I agree. I don't mean to stop you, but I see a little Notre Dame up there. What's going on?
Listen,
That's
I'm gonna tell you the story. I'm a diehard Notre Dame football fan. I'm not Catholic. I'm not from Indiana, but back in '93, I turned the TV on one Saturday
you see the
afternoon.
gold helmet.
Notre Dame was on. I said, okay. I watched the game. Next weekend, I turned it on. They was on again. They on pretty much every week, so that just hooked me. I've been a Notre Dame football fan since. So it's been tough sledding for me in these big games, but I'm still here, and eventually we'll see what happens.
So what? How you feel what about the domination? Did you see that coming with Florida Gators? Even though they had a lot of people out, it seemed like I didn't think that they would get dominated. I didn't think that Taz.
I thought they would lose,
Trask.
but I didn't see
How do
them.
you pronounce his name? The
Trask.
quarterback. Trask.
Yeah, Kyle Trask.
I thought he would do a lot better on that stage.
So I thought Florida was going to get beat by Oklahoma, but I didn't see it going that way. But of course, the excuse is that, they had out a lot of players, but I'm not buying that because the argument is always the SEC has all the best players and they're the best. So
Yeah.
if that's the argument, then hey, your second and third stringers should be able to beat everybody else, right?
I was
the
very
goalpost.
shocked. I was shocked. I didn't think that much. They got dominated. I didn't see that one coming.
Hey, it didn't bother me. All right.
Oh,
so
I'm a similar.
exactly. So
I don't
all
mind.
right.
I don't mind. It's been hard on me already. It's been real hard on me.
Yeah.
But hopefully Deion Sanders is over there at Jackson State getting his credentials. He might come back and save us after about 2 or 3 seasons.
We'll see. So we talked about Justin Fields a little while ago. I guess now the question is, how good is he? And we kind of got into it a little bit earlier, but what's your take on Justin Fields versus Trevor Lawrence and who's going to be better on the next level? We've seen those guys kind of go back and forth pretty much since like 8th grade in Georgia, number one recruit, back and forth. Justin Fields ends up going to Georgia. Obviously, Sunshine goes to Clemson. Trevor Fields ends up transferring to Ohio State. They both are outstanding prospects, but everyone has Trevor Lawrence as being the generational talent. I personally think Fields is going to be better. I'm in the minority on that. Where are you on it?
I love Sunshine, man. And I'm so happy coming to the Sunshine State. I hope he come to Jacksonville, but just all around, I really started to zoom in on him and focus on him. It seems like his vision. It just seems like he done did that. When he's back up in the pocket, the throws that he's making, his size. Me personally, like you say, I don't think it's. I do give Fields his props. I would like to see more consistency from Fields.
Okay.
But if I was the GM and I had to choose the quarterback, especially for the long run, I believe that Sunshine is going to be better. And I think not just coming in, but for the long run. I think he'll be one of the greats.
Okay. So let me ask you this. Let me throw this out
Some
at you.
people just got it like when Peyton Manning came on the scene, when
Hmm.
what's the guy who got hurt from the Colts?
Andrew Luck.
When Andrew Luck, you just knew
Yeah.
he was
Special.
you knew what you were getting, and that's how I feel that Trevor Lawrence is in that category coming into the NFL, or even coming right now, leaving college right now.
I don't know that I see that, but we'll find out if I'm right or wrong.
Yeah.
So with that, let me ask you this, right? Obviously you're from Jacksonville, you're probably a Jags fan and everything. Obviously, well, Giants
Die
first.
hard, die hard.
Right. But so check this out. Here's a thought, right? Uh Deshaun
Yeah.
Watson is unhappy in Houston.
Yes.
What would you say if the Jags say, okay, we'll trade this number one pick for Deshaun Watson and whatever else? Would you be good with that? I would.
I mean, I wouldn't be mad with it,
Hmm.
but like I keep telling you, man,
You're gonna get a haul for that number one pick.
I believe in Sunshine, not
Hmm.
just off his talent, but also just for this market.
Mm.
I believe if he bring that golden hair,
Hmm.
tall guy, white boy up in these stands, man, I think that these fans will go crazy. And I think Jacksonville I think this happened for a reason. I think that Jacksonville needs Trevor Lawrence. And I think that he's the pick. But Deshaun he's unhappy, but they're not going to let him go. He wants a trade, but
Hmm.
they already I seen today that they not even it's not an option of giving him away.
Okay.
So
Because I
that speaks
mean,
a lot about him. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So let's move off of college football and take it to your area of expertise, the NFL, and specifically the NFL playoffs. So first, what's kind of the storyline or the game in the playoffs that you're most interested in watching this weekend?
Um,
I got two. I'll tell you after yours.
all right. Well, you know, me, like I told you, when I'm always keep my eye on Brady.
Mm-hmm.
And that Tampa Bay um game, they're playing Washington football team.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just excited to see, even though this is Brady's first time doing a wild card and
Mm-hmm.
coming in the playoffs like this, I'm very excited to see if he can pull it off. And since he's in Tampa, the Super Bowl is in Tampa Bay. I think that's just what I'm kind of focusing on. That's what I'm excited to see. If I do believe, but because it's not going to be a cakewalk, because Washington, their defensive line, man, they got all first rounders on
Mm-hmm.
that front.
Yeah.
I
Looks a
mean,
lot like
even
what
though,
San Francisco did a few years ago.
yes, man, so they're not no pushovers. Their
No.
defense is great. Their quarterback, I believe, is injured. If you had to ask me, I believe that he is
Mm-hmm.
something is not all the way right with
Alex
Alex.
Smith. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's not all the way right. So I don't know if they can put points so much on the board, but if if Tom Brady cannot get banged up, and if he can stay away from that pressure, I believe that they should be able to get through this one pretty easy.
Okay. So for me, I guess the games I'm most excited about, one is Baltimore and Tennessee, because I want to see, well, obviously, this is Lamar Jackson's third crack at a playoff game.
And
He's already
haven't
been
won.
unanimous.
He hasn't won
Correct.
yet.
He has not won in his first two tries, so that's going to be big. Obviously, also Tennessee went into Baltimore when Baltimore had the number one seed last year and beat them. Derrick Henry ran for 2,000 yards this year. Ryan Tannehill's been playing out of his mind, one of the most efficient quarterbacks in the league. So there's a lot going on there. I want to see if Lamar can kind of get over the hump with and get his first playoff win. They've got to go to Tennessee. So there's a lot going on there. I think that's the one I'm really anxious to see. And secondly, I want to see Cleveland in their first playoff game in since what 2002, some
Yeah, man.
2002 or 2007.
But you really think you already? I mean, it's Cleveland, dog. Like they say, someone just made a statement. Juju says we still. They're gonna have to, like I say, they're gonna have to prove themselves, man, because
Hmm.
the Steelers looking at them like they're Cleveland.
Right.
They stepchild. Just
Hmm.
They always shooting themselves in the foot. If I had to
Right.
make it, they always doing something. Just like right now, that COVID list is. I think they have a lot of COVID going on right now.
I think
A
so.
lot of
Yeah.
people out for this game. Am I correct?
Yeah.
And
Especially the head coach, which is he's the main play caller. So that is going
yeah,
to be one of the biggest things.
yeah. But I can admit that Baker has stepped up, and I believe
I'm a
football
Baker
is.
fan. I like what I've seen from him this year.
I do too. I'm proud, and sometimes we can be as analysts and fans, we can be hard. I still just got to give props from where Cleveland has come and just for where they made it right now. But I do not believe they'll get over this hump. I don't think they have enough. I think last game, the Steelers. What is the head coach's name with the Steelers?
Mike Tomlin.
Mike Tomlin.
That's a
I
great
believe
coach.
a great coach. I mean, a great leader, and I
Yeah,
believe
absolutely.
he was just sitting back, getting all the information, and they're gonna put down on them this week. That's what I believe.
I think that if, and obviously it's always an if, but if the Cleveland Browns can get that running game cranked up, they're going to be really tough to beat because Baker is so good off of the run. And he's shown
Yes.
you he can also make the other throws, but it's also
What
going
do
to
you mean
be
of the play action?
he's awesome off the play act. He's one of the best play action passers in the league. But then
Yes.
he's also shown you that he's able to make other throws. And then I guess the thing too is he's got to be able to make the other throws if they take the run away, so it's going to be very interesting. And then offensively, the Browns are going to have to do a really good mix of the run pass because you expect them to come run heavy first, but if you can surprise them with the way you mix it up and call these plays, maybe you got a chance because the Steelers are going to be gearing up to stop Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb first and foremost.
Yes. Yeah, man. I just just like I say when it comes to it, here we go about that winning mentality. Football is 93% mental. You know what I'm saying? And I believe coming into the game, the Steelers just gonna still come in like they big brother. You know what I'm saying? The Browns are gonna have to show them that they're gonna be able to beat their big brother in that AFC North. They're gonna have to show them.
Got you. Okay, so moving on from those. So you mentioned Tom Brady earlier, and I didn't realize that you had been, on the team with him. So that's interesting. What do you
Man,
think are Tom Brady's and the Bucks' chances of making it to the Super Bowl for the 10th time? Now, for me, I think one of the biggest things is Green Bay's got home field throughout as the number one seed in the NFC, which
man.
makes it tough on a lot of teams playing in that cold. You know that as well as anybody.
Yes,
You've been
yes,
there at Lambeau in the playoffs. But Tom Brady is arguably the greatest cold weather quarterback of all time. So
yes.
what do you think are the Bucks' chances of making it to the Super Bowl and being the first home team ever in history?
Man, like I say, that was my interest. Just Tampa Bay right now. I guess my Jaguars are out. That's who I'm kind of rooting for. But I believe towards the end of this season, if we paid attention, they've really built up a lot of momentum. You know what I'm saying? They're coming into the playoffs in the right way. Antonio Brown and Tom Brady plus Gronk seem like they're finally getting their chemistry together. And uh, Tampa Bay has a great defense when it comes to blitzing. They're one of the they blitz
Mm-hmm.
one of the most blitzing defenses in the NFL.
Yeah, they bring
And
the
like
heat.
you say, when it comes to the cold weather, if anyone is going to go up to Green Bay and play in the cold and have a chance, I got to give the Captain Cool. And when I say Captain Cool, I'm talking about Tom Brady. Let me tell you something. When I was out of all my quarterbacks,
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Garcia with the 49ers,
Mm-hmm.
and when Eli Manning, when I first went to New York, guess who was the quarterback? When I first went in 2004, Kurt Warner was still
Oh
quarterback.
yeah, right.
Kurt Warner was quarterback, but
So
I
you
can
played with
remember.
some great ones. You played with 3 Hall of Famers.
Yeah,
Okay.
man. When I went, and I could tell the difference from when Eli first came into the huddle. It seemed like he was kind of the huddle was a little much for him. We had Tiki Bob in there, Jeremy Shockey. You had a lot of stars, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But it seemed like more when Captain Cool hit the huddle. Tom Brady, that being, he commanded the huddle. Everybody, it was a difference when he was in the huddle. All hell could be breaking loose in that pocket. He was so calm in the pocket. He was the best quarterback I played with. Not down at Eli, because that's my man now. That's my
Right.
man. I won a Super Bowl with him.
Right.
But just he was in my eyes, the GOAT. And I think he can pull it off.
Okay, so being that you just did some talking about Brady, let's stay on Brady for a minute.
All right.
Obviously, as you mentioned, you've been in the huddle with him. You've been across the field watching him. Just tell us what it's like being on both sides of that. You kind of talked about being in the huddle with him. What's it like catching balls from him? Does he throw a laser? Does he throw it so it lands in your hand softly? How does he communicate with you in terms of what he likes? And then what's it like watching from the other side competing against him, especially on the
But
biggest stage?
yeah, man. Um, he he one of those guys. He does have his touch, but he is pretty much he got a little ump on it, and you most time once you get to the league, everybody gonna have a little ump on that ball. But it seems
Mm-hmm.
like Tom just know how to. He always knew how to put it there, and it's something where he had expectations of you on the field, and so he made everyone better around him just because of how hard he worked and what he wanted to get done on the field. So it was just great to be in the huddle with him. But coming on the other side, even though I did not get to play in the Super Bowl game
Mm-hmm.
because I had tore my Achilles, I remember just like coming into here, um, what's the guy's name from Washington, the defensive end,
Chase
um,
Young.
Chase Young. Chase Young. As soon as after the game, he was going, he was coming at Tom Brady. I want Tom Brady. I want Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm.
That's just not the type of guy who you want to come at, especially in a playoff game. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? On that other side, that's not the guy who you want to try to make mad because you can just see, but he's coming to win the game. And
Mm-hmm.
I can even remember going into that Super Bowl game, they were undefeated. And I ain't gonna lie, I wouldn't tell too many people this, but I was, you can have confidence, but it was like felt like you was going into a battle that was kind of hard to win. But
Mm-hmm.
I didn't. I knew for a fact when I seen our defensive line come off that ball, first play, I knew it was different. It's different
Okay.
speeds to football. It's different speeds, and I have
Mm-hmm.
experienced all of them. You have preseason
Mm-hmm.
because first of all, I was on practice squad for 2 years, so I can remember I played a lot of preseason ball. You got regular season, you got playoffs, and then you got Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And when I seen OC Euro, he played D. When I seen that D line come off the ball and
Mm-hmm.
how they came off the speed of the game, I knew after the first play, I was like, we ready to. We can win. Then I changed and said we can finally win this game. But going against Brady, it felt like we was gonna go to a losing battle, man. Until when I seen him come off that ball, then I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But before I went, you can't tell your team like, oh, we finna go lose. But
Right.
Brady the man, dog. If it's anybody who can win it, he the man.
Okay. So the other thing we talked about was his playing in the cold weather up in Lambeau. Just give us a little bit of an idea. What's it like being in Lambeau and those Arctic tundra type temperatures up there for a playoff game where it's snowing and it's icy and it's just
Man,
super cold?
man. It was. I'm talking about when I tell you cold.
Yeah.
I'm talking about cold. And what's so crazy is, like I keep telling you, man, football 93% mental, man. And
Mm-hmm.
when going up there, we had a playoff game, man. I was injured, but I had went on the trip and
Mm-hmm.
I was on the sideline. And I've never seen a man dominate another man. When I say Plexico Burris, he went head to head against the cornerback with the long dreads. Let me see
Yeah. Al.
Al.
I can't remember his last name, but I know who you're talking
I'm
about.
bad. Sometimes I get bad with those names,
Yeah.
but it was so cold, man,
Mm-hmm.
and I can see it was so cold, and the ground was hard, and it was just so cold. And I can remember the offensive line. came out, everybody was wearing no sleeves, and we just came to play. But Plexico Birds, they went man-to-man coverage. And Plexico single-handedly just dogged this man all game long.
Al
And
Harris, that's who it is.
Al Harris, that's
Yeah.
it, Al Harris.
Yep.
He and Al Harris was a Pro Bowl corner. So for Plexico in a playoff game like that, we went up there and we won. But if I can remember, that was the coldest game I had ever experienced in there. And even though I wasn't playing, I was happy I was not playing because I'm a Florida boy.
Yeah,
But
right.
we all, as a professional, you know what I'm saying? We all have a game, but just like now, if you ask, if they do interviews with Tom Brady, I'm pretty sure he do not miss that cold, even though he's good.
He's already said it.
He like
you never catch him in the Northeast in the winter again.
Never catch him no more. So
yeah.
It's the small thing, just not even getting tackled, just catching the ball. The ball is cold. Catching the ball, hitting your fingers on helmet, face masks and stuff. It's just a total difference. But when it comes to being a professional, it's all about your mindset.
Right.
And we got a job to do. Hey, we got to do it anyway. It's time to go win a football game, baby.
I hear that. My uncle used to tell me when I was a kid, I used to complain, man, it's cold. It's cold. He used to say cold is a state of mind. But I don't know, man. When I see them guys up there in Lambeau, that looked like a totally different ball game.
When I see Coach Coughlin face red, I was like, man, it's serious.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay, so we talked already about Cleveland and Baker Mayfield, but here's a question though. Not necessarily just on the team, but how good do you think Baker Mayfield is in terms of being a pro quarterback? What I've heard from a lot of analysts is he needs a lot around him and he needs things to be going right in order to be successful. I mean, I would think a lot of quarterbacks, except the ultra elite, need a lot of things around them in order to be successful. But how good do you think he is? And do you think they got a legitimate chance to upset Pittsburgh? Do you think he's got what it takes to be more than just, a really good game manager who's living off an elite running game?
I mean, he is a Heisman Trophy winner. We have seen him in the past. And all I can say is that this season we have seen him looking way better, way more comfortable, and way more accurate in the pocket and, like you say, on the move. So I have to get my hats off to him. Do I think that he is on Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady and the quarterback from the Packers,
Aaron Rodgers.
A bad man. And do I think he's on that level? No, I think he has a long way to go. But him making strides and him making plays, they can pull it off. But I don't believe that they have enough to. But if they do, like you said, I am also a Baker Mayfield fan. I think that he has made. I'm very proud of how he's played this year, and they could do it. But just as a team overall, I think that mental big brother mentality that the Pittsburgh Steelers have over them, I don't see them getting over that this year.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about, we already talked a little bit about Lamar Jackson, but that brings us over to our final topic. So this is kind of Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen are two young quarterbacks who are elite in the NFL now, probably, easily both in the upper third of the quarterback ratings. Josh Allen, the way he played this year, he might be top 5. Lamar Jackson, probably top 8 or 9, unanimous MVP last year. Again, neither has won a playoff game yet. Both have very good teams going into the playoffs this year. Which of them would you rather have for this playoff run and why?
I would rather have Josh Allen. I believe as a pure passer, I believe that Josh this season has showed that he's better. I don't really know what. Now I do think that Lamar Jackson is a great quarterback, and I think he's a tremendous athlete.
No question.
I think he's something that the NFL have never seen. But when it comes to what I'm also starting to see that I've learned from watching Lamar Jackson is that the proof is in the pudding. Like you say, he has not won a playoff game yet. And and another thing is that it kind of that just being athletic at the quarterback position, you need a lot more, in my personal opinion. And that comes with being that pocket passer. And you can see all these guys that are coming seems to be can move. And Josh Allen is one of those guys. He can move. So he can run. He might not can't run as fast as and is a better athlete as Lamar. But when it comes, I would rather have a Josh Allen who is maybe not as athletic, but when it comes to throwing that ball right now and the chemistry that he has with the wide receiver from
Stephon Diggs.
With Stephon Diggs, man, that chemistry that they're going, man.
Yeah.
And what's the slot receiver? BB.
No, it's not BB. You think
Not
way
BB.
back.
I mean, he was with Dallas, right? The slot guy. Come on, man.
He came from Dallas. Man, I can't remember his name.
He reminded me of Don BB, right?
Yeah. I can't remember his name though.
My bad. I'm gonna get back. I should have had my notes right now, but I'll be ready on the next one. I'm gonna be ready for you. But if I just overall, I think that he showed enough to see. And if it's anybody who I
Cole
say
Beasley, that's who it is. Cole Beasley.
Beasley, that's who it is. Cole Beasley.
Yep.
So I think that Buffalo has, I believe right now that they are the hottest team going into the playoffs right now. And I believe if anybody can go all the way in the AFC, I believe that Buffalo is the number one to go. And I would choose Allen.
So wait. Okay, so now we gotta talk a little more. So you think that if Buffalo matches up with Kansas City, they beat them?
I wouldn't call it, but for the upset, that's what I would call. Just on paper.
Yeah, you just said Buffalo could be the team that go all the way, and I'm not disagreeing because they look right now the way they're playing. They look tremendous. I just think that they match up really well with Kansas City, but where Kansas City has the distinct advantages in coaching, and that means a lot. You got Andy Reid,
enemy.
Right. And so I think that means so much. The coaching.
You are absolutely right. And just talent. I still think that the Chiefs have more talent all the way around. What about you?
Yes, but I don't think it's a huge gap. They do, but I don't think the gap is as big as maybe some people might think.
Oh, so you think it's more of the coaching?
I think that would be the biggest difference in that matchup if Buffalo plays.
That's a very good point. I will agree with you on that right there. I will agree. But you got to look out for them boys, man. You got to look out for Buffalo, man. They hot. They on fire. I'm talking about Josh Allen, man. You get that boy. You get him breaking out that pocket. Get a couple plays down with the Bills Mafia West fan stuff going right now, man. I don't know, brother.
They doing it. Yeah. All right. Well, Michael, thank you so much for taking the time out to join the Format Podcast today. Telling us some stories, giving us your experience and being a champion. Talking to us about college football and what you see coming up. So we're definitely gonna have you back on the show. Thanks again for coming on, man. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you, brother. Be blessed.
All right.